really, she knows what she's about, and
It's
she's
less
not going to
subtle
hide it.
than like a episode of Sister Sister I think I watched once where someone got hired to specifically follow around black people at a retail store. Do you remember that like very special episode of whatever sitcom forever ago?
I don't
know. It was less subtle than that. It was just very much like, your homeboy's gonna steal things, I'm sure of it.
She might as well have just gone up to him and been like, you're black, so I think you're gonna steal this, and I'm gonna follow you around.
That's ridiculous.
She kind of does when she asks to check the bag, and he's like, well, he didn't check their bags. He's like, I had no reason to suspect them.
Yeah.
It's like, lady.
No, I think she even says, well, I had every perfect reason to trust them, or something like that.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. And
they look like me.
Pretty much. It's like, oh, you're the worst. But yeah, it's just like such a like case of like white privilege that it just wouldn't occur to them that it would be an issue. Not to mention the fact that like even if this person hadn't been like outwardly racist, first of all, don't do that to a person at all. But also especially like, you know, like African Americans have such a higher like incarceration rate because people are like a cop will.
They're more targeted.
And a cop is much more likely to be violent than they would be with a white person shoplifting.
Yeah.
Like, I have been caught shoplifting, and I got off with, give that back to me, now leave.
But it also just boggles my mind that Danny, he put it in his bag because he's like, she's going to catch this later when they leave. But it's also like, you're at a store and you put in a clothing item from the store, even if she doesn't search their bag, that's going to like set off an alarm when you leave the store, you dummy.
Seriously. I would like to just state for the record that I was caught shoplifting in high school when I was dumb, and I'm an adult and I don't do that anymore.
I mean, I think you've mentioned that countless times on the show already, so we know the backstory.
But we're on a network now, and we have new listeners.
Oh, we're on a network now.
We're on a network now, and we have new listeners who don't know.
We should probably make an announcement about that at the beginning of the episode. I don't know. Hey guys, this is our first episode on the Filling the Void Network. Welcome to the show. If you've made it this far in, it's 48 minutes in. Welcome. If you don't understand any of our references, go on SoundCloud and check out all the other episodes that
iTunes.
Yeah.
And I'm not usually here.
And Mike is on some other episodes that we've done. We talked about a really cool guy named Skinny.
Never forget.
Oh my God,
Skinny.
I wish Skinny was here.
Me too.
Actually, we recently were talking about how Skinny and Jay probably would have totally gotten along.
They would have hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
Does Skinny make a triumphant return?
I don't think so.
I wish.
Oh no, it was also Skinny and the drug dealer that JT got involved with.
Yeah, who was Jay's friend, because all of Jay's friends are drug dealers whose names you don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine. We're doing great.
Skinny probably loves meth.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to state for the record, for the newer listeners,
you're not a criminal anymore.
I'm a normal human in the world.
Well, normal's a relative term, but...
well, okay. That's fair.
But real quick, we hop over to Emma coming home late with her new dog, her new surprise dog. And
surprise dog.
Then,
I know that life. I know that surprise dog life.
She's like, hey, I'm here if anybody cares. And then Mr. Simpson is like, well, better extremely late than never, I guess. And they're talking with his lawyer. And then this is when Emma's like, you don't understand what it's like for me at school, blah, 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 making it all about herself. And
Emma.
And it's being terrible. But Mr. Simpson is so used to this that he's just like, I know, I'm sorry. We're going to get through it. And it's useless to even point out how selfish she is being. I'm just going to apologize to her because I'll probably go over better than pointing out how terrible she is.
Which I guess fair.
And it kind of resolves the situation. And then they're like, wait, did you get a dog? And she's like, I'm going to take him back.
It's just the craziest, like,
it's
sequence
ridiculous.
of events.
But
and I like that it ends with, Wait, is that a dog? What's happening? Why do we have a dog now?
But then we're back at the store, and Danny and Rachel finally decide to leave. And then this white supremacist retail lady is like, let me check your bags. And he's like, you didn't check their bags. And she's like, well, I had every reason to trust them. And then
she's terrible.
She checks the bag and she sees the crotchless panties in there. And Dana's like, oh my God, I didn't put those there. And she's like, sure you did. Have fun telling that to the police, who I'm sure you've spoken to before, or something like
cool
that.
Assumption.
And then he and Rachel like bail and run away, which I'm like, you know what? I probably would have done that too.
Oh no, I support him running.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was like, good, run, because like he's not going to be treated fairly.
No. And then real quick, we're at the dot, and Danny and Peter are like starting to edit, and Peter's like, film is rated NF, not funny.
Not funny.
Which, like, yeah.
He's right.
It's
Yeah.
not wrong. It's not
That's the only
funny.
note I have for the scene, which is why I know it happened. Before we go back to Rachel and Danny running around, is there anything else that happens in this scene?
No, just
Nothing.
just
Nothing.
just
Not
that sweet
funny.
Peter Zinger.
And then, like,
It's
Danny...
The most unnecessary scene in the whole episode.
I feel like at like maybe once every couple of episodes, there's like one scene that's like, why? Were you just filling for time? Like in the last episode, there was one where they were like driving and there was just like ADR of Spinner going, women's studies, like something about women's
He
studies.
was like, women's studies building. Hey, do you want to go study some women?
Yeah, that was it.
There's some really good ADR in this episode when the four of them, the D-bags, Rachel and Camper Boy, are at the like pool hall in the first time, and it's just ADR of Rachel like in the distance just going, 4 juices please. Or like 4 sodas please. It's like, wow. So they're just like
That
setting
was some
up like
crisp audio from across the
Yeah.
room. Oh, I gotta love some Degrassi ADR. It's always very unnatural.
It's always super unnecessary. Just like
I
just
think
nonsense.
I like it from the point of view of they were watching like the dailies on this, and they're like, oh man, we gotta find some way, like, where's Rachel at? We gotta let people know where she is. Oh, I got it. She's ordering them juice. How are we gonna show that? ADR.
Yes.
Nailed it.
They are on top of it.
Please.
I appreciated you pulling back from the mic for that.
Yeah, I pushed the chair out.
It was very realistic.
Good.
But
Lured that
then,
in.
we see Danny and Rachel like run into an alleyway, and they're away from the mall. And I don't really know. I just wrote, "Dear God, overreactions all around."
Seriously, because Rachel is like, you don't have to steal to impress me, which, like, cool assumption,
Yeah.
Rachel, that he's, like, stealing to impress you. Also, like, and she makes a good point. She's like, well, I don't know you, really, like, so maybe that is a thing that you would do. But also, like, maybe give this person the benefit of the doubt.
Also, he was with you literally the whole time. When would he have stolen those crotchless panties?
Seriously.
And then he's like, you actually thought I stole that? I don't want to hang out with you anymore.
I mean,
and
Yeah, they really tied it up.
and then they like both storm off in different directions.
everyone's furious.
And then Danny goes back to the dot, and Derek's like, "Oh, Rachel's not here. Did she like the prank I pulled?" or something like that.
Because he's garbage. He is a trash person.
And then Danny's like, "That was you? Like, you knew that, like, retail lady was targeting me. Like, what are you doing? I could have gotten in trouble." And Derek's like, "Oh, wait, what? It was totally a joke, though, man." And then Danny is like, it's never a joke when, like, a black man gets accused of stealing something or, like, something like that. And Derek's like, but it was a joke. I didn't know. And then Danny storms off, rightfully so.
I hate him so much.
And he's
Hate
like,
Derek.
what? I didn't know. And,
Derek is the guy who's mad about PC culture.
Oh, actually, in my notes on this, I think I put Derek would be an alt-right teen if he was American. Someone get this boy a peppy lapel pin.
Seriously, though.
Derek is hashtag all lives matter.
He is, for sure. It's just, like, willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then we're at school again, and Emma and Damien are talking again, and
he's like, how's your dog?
Yeah, he
Your
very
dog.
specifically emphasizes the word your dog. And Emma's like, oh, actually, like, it's the family dog now. They all fell in love with him. And I was like, all right, I guess they have a dog now. And then he's like, and then she's like, all right, well, I'm going to head off now. And he's like, wait, and like pulls down another Dave Eggers book and is like, when a guy lends you a book, it means that he likes you.
Which, in my experience, that is not the case.
And then he like lends her another book to like mend fences. And it's like, oh my God, swoon again. And that's the end of the B plot, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they kiss in the hallway, which I always thought was weird.
I'm also still, like, bitter about the fact that she most definitely broke up with Sean via email or something while he's off in the army, and I'm not here
Whoa.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not cool,
Emma,
dude.
what are you doing?
Right?
Jeez.
And
It's
then
fucked up.
It's super fucked up. I mean, Sema is my OTP, so I'm going to forever be touchy about it, but whatever. Also, I don't really care about Damien, who, by the YouTube comments we read, dresses like a grandpa or like Mr. Rogers.
Pretty much. I'm fairly neutral on Damien. He seems fine.
But then we are in media immersion and we see the tail end of Johnny DeMarco's presentation, which is him in a very monotone voice saying, and that's how separating recycling will save the world. Hooray.
Yeah, I want to change my answer from who my favorite character is in this episode to that guy, because just for that alone.
Actually, honestly, like the last few guest spots we've had, they've all loved Johnny DeMarco so much.
True. Babysitters Club loved
Johnny DeMarco. And his camo hat.
I mean, I'm starting to really love Johnny DeMarco.
I'm
by
actually,
starting, I mean, have always.
I'm warming up to him as a character. I still think he's objectively gross as a human being. Like, he looks dirty and smelly and like he doesn't brush his teeth. Like, I would never want him to be my romantic interest. But as a person, I'm like warming up to him.
I like him. I think he's cool.
I
don't think he's cool, but I like him as a character.
I do like that his nickname is Dirtbag.
Yeah, he looks like, you know what he is? He looks like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. Like, he's just like eternally dirty. At least that's how he looks to me.
Holland's very judgy about Johnny DeMarco and about the weird like semi-crush that I sometimes have
I
on
don't
him.
know why I'm so judgy about Johnny DeMarco. I just have an averse reaction to him. It's just like in my bones.
I get it.
I'm like, I don't like that person.
I get it.
That's fine. That's how I feel about Derek, so it's okay.
Well, that too.
That's also how I feel about Derek.
Um,
but
cool.
I liked Johnny DeMarco's presentation. Frankly, I'm shocked that he did one at all.
Yeah.
And I'm more surprised that he chose to do it about recycling.
Which is something that could help save the world. So good on you, Johnny DeMarco.
Yeah.
Did it.
Oh, also somebody on Twitter recently pointed out how they loved how we can only say Johnny DeMarco's name, like first name, last name, like no, or maybe it was on Instagram. It was like, it's like we can only say his full entire name.
Because it's the perfect
It's like
full
required.
name. It's so good. I could never call him Johnny. That's weird.
No.
Yeah, it's the perfect 5-syllable name.
Yeah.
Johnny DeMarco.
It's like Johnny DeMarco, Jordan
What a
Catalano.
Oh,
DeMarco.
yeah.
Like, you gotta say both names. Jake Ryan. Like, you gotta say it. Is that his name?
It's like
rolls
your-
off the tongue.
From 16 Candles?
It's like your mouth does a dance when you say it. It's like, hey, Johnny DeMarco.
It really is a dance.
It's a delight. I love it. It's really fun.
But
Johnny
then,
DeMarco. Johnny DeMarco, Jordan Catalano. Just good full names.
yeah. But then Mr. Perino calls up Team Fuzzhead, and then Derek is like, I finished the project last night. And then, like, the title screen comes up, and it's How to Betray Your Best Bud.
Which, like,
My God.
I get it. It's a nice gesture, but also, like, best